Back from the camping trip, and I really had a good time. It was a really great bonding time. Just me and the girls. We saw some friends there. We hung out with them too. But all in all, just a really sweet time. And I wanted to share this idea with you that it's coming from a lot of this, this book and other things that I'm learning about. That the importance, I guess, of early childhood education, the importance of raising kids in a feeling of abundance, right? I'm going to throw out a couple things here. Throw in a few different words here. Subjectivism, right? Being subjective in life. There's a lot of parts of reality is that we create. A lot of the realities that we live in is built up in our minds, right? That we create things, we understand things, and we create a mental map of what reality really, what reality looks like as best as possible from our perspective. So the question is, if it's just a model of reality that's coming from our perspective, then how do we create the best model? How do we live the best reality possible? Um, you know, and a lot of what's involved in creating this map that you're always using in order to, assess and predict things that are happening in the world is your previous experiences, and a lot of that has to do with your childhood, experiences, how you grew up, how you were raised. And I'm reading this book called Smart Love, and they talk about primary happiness, and they talk about this idea of primary happiness that is something that's this a love that is built up, as best as I understand, from really young age, from the parent who's giving over love in a feeling of being unbounded, in an experience of giving where it's not being held back, and through positive parenting, and through giving love to the kids and being patient and listening to them and responding. Every stage is different, but the idea, as far as I'm understanding it, is that we want to build ideas to build humans with a strong sense of self, and a perspective of seeing the world in abundance. I'm sure there's many people different out there, many different people out there. I personally have my own, I have my own experiences with these sorts of things, so I can only really speak from my mind. But I feel like I was given the love at a young age, from a mother, to such an extent that it provided me with this strength, this unabounding courage and strength to believe in myself and love myself. And it's huge, because that courage and that strength and that ability to perceive reality, perceive myself like that, this is all my filter. I'm seeing it through my filter. My filter is seeing the world, and that filter is made up of the way that is made up of the all of our experience, and it's built up of all these different experiences. So right, we have a filter. I have my filter, and my filter is going to be part of my previous life, right? The things I've experienced before, and how I relate to them, and using your past and using your things you're going through now, and with all of your genetics, your brain is constantly trying to make predictions and infer things and create a model of the world that's going to be as best as possible. So when it comes to kids, we want to help them create a filter that's going to be as positively influenced as possible. By that I mean that we want their filter to see the world in a level of abundance, and not to see the world in a level of lack. Right? It's the idea of like having a cup that's half full and a cup that's half empty, and that sort of thing is instilled on a child from when they're young. Right? We can change it when we're older, obviously, but it's much, much harder. It's much easier to grow them up, with that. And so that's my idea. I think that part of this book that I'm learning, this Smart Love, is a loving regulation of children to help them boost and create that, sense of self, and on, with every level that exists. And the idea is that you have more people who are perceiving the world as a whole, perceiving it as a beautiful place, right? And if you have more people that are perceiving the world as, in abundance, and perceiving the world as a place of love and not a place full of, enemies and people that want to hurt you, then we're going to have more people that are going to be more, they're going to desire more to help each other. They're going to desire to be empathetic with each other. They're going to desire just to do more for each other because they're happy with themselves, right? When you feel like you have a lot, you really feel like you have a lot, you don't mind going out and helping others. I mean, that's the reality of it, right? So we want to have kids, as many kids as possible, that are perceiving it like that, that are perceiving. And that starts off when they're young. That starts off when they're children. That starts off with you. That starts off with me. That starts with every single parent that's parenting their kids. How do we parent our children to raise them with a perspective of the world that involves abundance, that involves feeling like they're getting, not the feeling of I'm lacking, not the feeling of I'm lacking. The feeling of I'm lacking is a shitty feeling, and and it always it never fills itself up with when the person, that feeling never goes away until the person deals with it themselves. So raising children with the tools and the abilities to see and perceive the world in this matter is the ultimate goal for myself. That's my opinion. And therefore, there's ways to do it. There's different practical ways to raise our kids, in a way that they're going to perceive the world like that, and they're going to grow into humans. They're going to want to be part of this, add to this world and add to the good that needs to happen, and not take away from it because they're obsessed about losing their slice of the pie. It's a big thing. A lot of people are raised in this idea that if they give to someone else, they lose their slice of the pie. That's not the reality. Kids need to be raised with the knowledge. Kids need to be raised with the unbounded love to give them that foundation to perceive the world in such a manner. And that's what I'm trying to say, and that's what I want to share with you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I will be sharing more, and have a beautiful day. Drive at 5, guys. Oh yeah, subscribe to my YouTube channel. God, I can't forget to say that. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe. I'm going to have more videos, and I hope you guys enjoyed.